Hello and welcome to How I Built This Resilience Edition from NPR. It is Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. WOFH time, working out from home. And I'm wearing this headband in honor of my guest today, Alberto Perlman, co-founder of Zumba. He's in the window next to me. Zumba is a massive business. It trains thousands of instructors every week. It licenses music, and it has instructors in studios around the world. Alberto was on the show a few years ago. If you haven't heard that episode, you've got to go and listen to it. It is so crazy. Tony the Tiger makes an appearance in it. Trust me, it's amazing. As all of you know, the fitness industry has been hit pretty hard by the pandemic. Some businesses, we had John Foley of Peloton, have been doing okay. Others have been struggling. Let's find out what's going on at Zumba. Alberto, welcome. Great to have you.
Thank you, Guy. So happy to be here with you again.
You know, if you're watching this on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, please send your questions in. We love them. Alberto, I wish we could do a Zumba class right now. I'm ready to go. I'm charged and energized, but I guess I'll just have to settle for a run this weekend. First of all, how are you doing?
You can find a virtual Zumba class right now if you want to go to Zumba.com and find one.
All right. After this, how are you doing? How are you holding up?
So I'm a little tired. I feel like we packed 3 years of innovation in 4 months. And so we're tired, we're exhausted, but we're also energized because we're seeing our community find ways to thrive.
Yeah.
And I'm a little sad because we should be at the Zumba convention right now, but we had to cancel this year.
Oh, man. Alberto, for people who aren't as familiar, I mean, I think pretty much everyone knows that Zumba is a fitness program. It's high energy. It's really great music. It's nonstop. Just for people who don't know much about it, just how do you describe Zumba?
Well, Zumba is I think it's the largest branded fitness community in the world. We have over 15 million people who take Zumba classes every week pre-pandemic. And we're in 186 countries. And pre-pandemic, we were in 200,000 locations. We don't own the locations. We have instructors teaching those locations. Some instructors own their own location and some instructors work for somebody else. But we are a fitness community, a cultural community, a musical community, a community of people that just come together and have fun and get healthy and happy.
And this program was developed by one of your co-founders, Alberto Perez. He was a fitness instructor. You met him like 20 years ago. You guys hung out at Starbucks and started a business around this fitness program, and obviously have expanded it with music and all kinds of things. Can you describe for people who don't know how it works, what your economic model is? Because you're not like yoga, right? Yoga isn't owned by anyone. Zumba is actually a brand. It's a program. How does your business make money off of the exercise program?
Right. So I think first we should start with the vision of the company, right? The vision of the company is to make the world a happier and healthier place. And to do that, we structured our mission, which is to make our instructors successful, right? So we said, how can we reach the most amount of people possible? Let's create, and we always say that Zumba is like water. It just flows where it needs to go. And the way we did that was we said, we're going to train instructors. There's a initial certification that an instructor goes through, and they pay to attend the certification. We're doing them virtually now, and we're in person in countries where we can do them, and we also do them virtually on our website. And then there is a membership program where the instructors basically get everything they need. There's 100 different benefits that they get to be able to teach Zumba classes. And now we've expanded our benefits significantly through the pandemic because we went virtual, and we help our instructors go virtual as well. We also have a clothing line that does very well, that sells all over the world. And we have a program called Strong Nation, which is it's our HIT program. So it's our high intensity interval
Right.
training program. If you go to strongnation.com, so it works just like Zumba, except it's a non-dance program. It's a HIIT program.
And so basically you train instructors and then you license the brand and the program to instructors around the world. And those instructors are like, they're like the entrepreneurs. I mean, they run their own Zumba business.
Yeah. We enable them to go out and create their business or work for someone and generate income doing what they love. That is the most important thing. If people love dancing, people love interacting with other people, people love leading, then they get trained this. They can actually make money doing something that they really, really love.
Alberto, we had John Foley of Peloton on a couple weeks ago, and Sadie Lincoln of Bar 3, and we've done a lot of fitness on how I built this, and obviously the industry as a whole has just been absolutely decimated, right? I mean, 24-hour fitness filed for bankruptcy. Gyms across the country are struggling. Many of them may not survive. At the same time, working out from home is really, anybody who's tried to get dumbbells online knows it's impossible to find them right now, right? So
I heard there's a black market for dumbbells.
Yeah, there is. It's amazing. I mean, you go to anyway. How has the economic crisis affected Zumba?
So we set out and said, let's base our response to the pandemic, and we started seeing this in January and February because we have instructors in China, and our instructors in China were telling us, "Hey, this is really bad. You guys have to prepare for this because if this gets out, this is not good." So we said we have to do three things. How do we continue to help our instructors generate income? One, most important thing. How do we continue to help our instructors? Two, how do we deliver education virtually for new people who want to become instructors, or our existing instructors who need further education, especially if they're transitioning to virtual? And three, how do we keep our promise to make the world happy and healthy? So the first thing we did was we allowed our instructors to start teaching online. They started teaching on Zoom, but parallel to that, we started developing our own platform. And it's called Zin Studio. Zin stands for Zoom Instructor Network. So Zin Studio. And Zin Studio allows instructors to live stream their classes. It allows them to upload pre-recorded classes with licensed music. It allows them to charge for their classes. It allows them to list their classes on a platform on Zumba.com that allows them to have a class finder so that people can find their classes. So we really focused on this Zin Studio concept to help our instructors generate income during the lockdown. And at the same time, we said our instructors don't necessarily are not necessarily trained in using all this technology, so we better provide all the education that they need. So we created all these courses that were done through Zoom, and some are e-learning courses that our instructors could take to become what we call virtual fitness pros. And to our surprise, within a month and a half, we had about 1 million people a week taking Zumba classes virtually, which is amazing for a new virtual product. And it was really our instructors telling their students, "Hey, now I'm teaching online, and come take my class virtually." And every week we launch improvements to the platform. So we added chat to the platform so students can chat while they're taking the class. We added emojis. We added the things to the paywall so that instructors could take payment. Every week we're launching new tech at a pace that our technology team had never done so before. And I'm so proud of them because they really took it to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, that's my question, right? Like, you basically stood up a virtual platform within weeks. I mean, I'm imagining that if you had a plan, like let's say a year ago, you said, "Hey, we want to do a virtual platform," it would have taken you like a year to put together, right?
Easy. But
and you did this in like 6 weeks?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. People working nights, weekends, everyone was working together. It felt like we were starting Zumba again. It felt like, how Jeff Bezos says day one? It really felt like day one.
Huh.
We felt unstoppable. We were going at it. We were talking to instructors to get feedback on how to make the platform perfect for them. At the same time, our education team and our membership teams are working on all the content that they're going to deliver to the instructors. We started doing daily live streams ourselves to our instructors, helping them either more choreographies, more music, or helping them learn about teaching online. And at the same time, we said we need to also help our instructors and the world at large during the pandemic to help them in other ways. So we created a membership assistance program where we provided millions of dollars in discounts to the instructors. We also created a community fund where we gave funds out to instructors who were directly affected by COVID themselves, who were hospitalized, who had family members that passed away, or instructors that were, because our instructors sometimes are Zumba as their side job. So
Right.
we had a lot of instructors who are nurses, huge population of nurses who are also Zumba instructors. So we help them, they're frontline workers. We help them with childcare services. So we created this community fund. And we also did something that we call the One Class, One Meal program to promote the virtual classes and to also help every people in need. We were giving out for every person who took a virtual class, which we make no revenue on. All the revenue goes to the instructors.
Wow.
For every person who takes a virtual class, we donated a meal during the month of June, and we donated 1.1 million meals to food banks around the world.
Wow. So Alberto, so when somebody signs up for a virtual class on the Zumba platform, all that revenue and pays for it, it goes to the instructor?
Yeah, everything goes to the instructor.
Wow. So I mean, how are you guys? I mean, you're still a business. You still have employees. You probably have a healthy balance sheet, I would suspect. But I mean, that is going to, that runs out for any company eventually. How are you kind of managing the business? And I mean, have you had to have layoffs or furloughs, for example?
Yeah, so we didn't do any layoffs. We didn't do any furloughs. Surprisingly, our clothing business is doing very well during these past few months. A lot of people are buying fitness clothing,
yeah,
to work out at home or to work out outdoors, and we were able to manage it. Obviously, it's not going to be a very profitable year because we made a lot of investments to make all these things happen.
Yeah.
But that's not our objective this year. Our objective this year is about the people. It's about the instructors. It's about their students. It's about our employees. It's always been that. And this year, it's even more about just helping out others. And we'll be fine.
So basically, if you are a Zumba instructor, obviously you pay a monthly license fee. But if you want to have virtual classes, you can use this platform, and all of that money goes to you. Zumba does free.
Yeah, the instructors can use the platform for free. They set up their class on Zumba.dance, which is the platform where you find the class finder, which is also linked to Zumba.com.
Yeah.
And then people pay $1, $3, $5 to take a virtual class. They set the price. Some of them do donation classes.
Wow.
And yeah, I know instructors. This is amazing. I know instructors who are making $25 a class teaching at the YMCA or $30 a class teaching at the YMCA. Suddenly, when they switch to virtual, they're making $150 a class.
Wow.
So some of them are making more money than before the pandemic.
Wow. A reminder, if you're watching, we are taking your questions on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, so please keep them coming. I promise I'll get to them. Fun fact, Alberto, and for anyone watching, one of the original producers on How I Built This, now co-host of Throughline, Rund Abdel Fattah, was a Zumba instructor in college.
No way.
Fun fact.
Awesome.
Everyone who's a fan of Throughline know that Rund was a Zumba instructor. I remember when you were originally on the show a couple years ago, you talked about the 2008 financial crisis, and all of a sudden you started to see an uptick in people training to become Zumba instructors because people were losing their jobs. Here we are once again in an even worse financial economic crisis. Are you seeing an uptick in brand new people trying to learn how to become Zumba instructors?
So we are seeing people coming in. It's not as big as the 2008, and it's not as big as what we predicted was going to happen at the beginning of the year. But we are seeing every day a large group of people registering to become Zumba instructors. It's not the same as the 2008. 2008 was crazy, and I think it's partly because there were so many people that were hanging out at the gym in 2008, 2009. They were laid off. They were hanging out at the gym, and the fitness industry needed more instructors.
Yeah, of course. You know, I remember the other a big sort of shift for your business, right? Was when you made a huge pivot, because originally you guys made videos, like Zoom home videos that were sold through infomercials, and that's how you could learn how to become a Zumba instructor. And you realized that that wasn't actually a sustainable model. You made a huge pivot to support training and to create a network instead of just selling videos. This seems to me what you're doing now with video, with online virtual courses and training. That seems to be the biggest pivot since your whole business model was established. Is that fair?
I think our pivot now, yes, I think it's more than just the virtual piece. It's how do we pivot into a place where our instructors are going to have to be even more entrepreneurial than before. We don't know what's going to happen to the four walls. Our great friends at 24 Hour, at Golds, even a lot of the boutique gyms, it's tough. It's tough, and we've been trying to help them. And one of the ways we've helped is we really pushed our instructors and motivated our instructors to teach outdoors. And I was in China 10 years ago, and I saw that people would do these dance classes in the park in China. And I asked a friend of mine in China, and he told me 100 million people every day are dancing outdoors together. And so when the pandemic happened, and after the whole virtual strategy was launched, we said, well, we also need to push this outdoor strategy and tell our gym partners, hey, our instructors can teach in parking lots, in the parking lot at your gym, and you can partner with them and host these classes there. And so that could generate some income for you. Or some instructors would say, I'm going to go to the park and I'm going to talk to the park ranger, and I'm going to rent the park for an hour, and I'm going to charge $10 a person, and I'm going to get 20 of my students to show up, and I'll generate $200 in revenue for my classes at the park. And we're seeing every day, we're seeing more and more people teach outdoors.
Yeah.
Saw a huge class happening in New York with, I think I had like 300 people outdoors in Central Park. So we're really excited about that piece. So I think the pivot is, how do we push our instructors to become, how do we help our instructors to generate even more entrepreneurial opportunities? Because Zumba, like I said at the beginning, Zumba is like water. It just flows where it needs to go. No one's going to stop Zumba because it's so magical, it's so powerful, but it can be done in many different places and in many different ways. Yeah. And some instructors have even doubled up and said, well, I'm going to teach outside, or I'm going to teach socially distant inside, but I'm also going to stream at the same time. And so I can generate revenue twice. Wow. I can generate revenue from my people who are live in person with me.
Oh, wow.
And I can do it at the same time with people all over the world. So I can have some people from Korea and from Argentina and from Brazil taking my class. And at the same time, I'm in my hometown in New York teaching an outdoor class and generating revenue on both sides and making people happy.
It's so interesting. This pandemic is going to completely reorder and reshape the fitness industry, as it will the restaurant industry. And I think some of those changes are going to be exactly what you said, taking a class with, with your favorite person at any time around the world. I mean, it already was happening a little bit, but this has really kind of supercharged it. One of the things that I remember you talking about in the episode was this concept that you called FEJ, freeing, electrifying joy, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
And this like idea that like 20 minutes into a Zumba class, you just like hit a zone, and you're just like liberated from the world outside. This, and anyone's taken a Zumba class probably knows what I'm talking about. Can you get that feeling when you're doing this virtually?
So we did a survey of people who've taken Zumba virtually, and we interviewed over 100,000 people, and 50% of them said that they started doing Zumba virtually because they needed to stay in shape, But the main reason that they're doing it now is because of stress relief, is because it helps them. It's like forced meditation a little bit. It's like you have to follow those dance moves. You're concentrated. You're listening to this amazing music, and all your other thoughts go away. It's just you, the music, the instructor, and the movement. And that's what's beautiful about Zumba, is that moment that we call Fej, which is like our Zen. What Zen is to yoga, Fej is to Zumba, freeing, electrifying joy.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to some questions from our viewers. This is from Claire Murashima. Hello, Claire. Thank you for your question. Claire asks, like when you get tired of doing Zumba, what do you do? Because you probably don't do Zumba every day. I know you exercise. So what other things do you do?
So Strong Nation is our new program, which is a high intensity interval training program. It's non-dance, but what we did that was very neat. We're very big on music. Music is our DNA. 70% of everything that happens in a Zumba class is music. So we said, how can we create something musical with high intensity interval training? So what we decided to do was we created these sequences, these routines, where you're doing a push-up, a squat, a burpee, 10 jacks, and then you go into punching and kicking, and we synchronized music to it. So we went to our favorite DJs like Steve Aoki, or producers like Timbaland, and we said, can you score music to this workout? Instead of the music being in the background, let's score music, just like you would score music to a movie, like a training scene in a movie, or like a battle scene in the movie 300. And they created this very cool, epic music that matches the workout completely. So if you take a Strong Nation class, you can take one virtually. We also have, you go to strongnation.fit, you can find virtual Strong Nation classes, or you can take them outdoors, or you can take them in gyms that are open, and you feel like one with the music. You feel like you are completely immersed, synchronized. And it was about Zumba was about Fej. Strong Nation is about hacking motivation. So it's like remember Pavlov's dogs?
Yeah.
Where the bell would ring and the dog would salivate. So we created a similar thing with music conditioning. So we're not counting how many burpees you're doing. It's every time that sound hits, you're doing a burpee, and suddenly you thought you could only do 20, and you just did 26. And it's because you were just hearing that sound and you were getting conditioned. So I'm really excited about Strong Nation. We're getting a lot of people hiring Strong Nation instructors to come teach in their backyards. Oh, wow. As almost like personal coaches, personal trainers. Come teach me Strong Nation in my backyard, because that's the workout I want to do while I'm at home.
26 burpees, everybody. After this, let's do it. How do you walk me through a little bit how you guys are, successfully doing virtual training and virtual instruction? Because not only are you onboarding new people, but you're also updating and offering continued instruction, but then like teaching people how to use the virtual platforms. I imagine that it was kind of a rocky period at the beginning, right? When you were trying to do this?
Oh, it was crazy at the beginning. So we started off with helping our instructors get on Zoom, right? And Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, they were teaching on these platforms, and a lot of audio issues or video issues as they were learning, right? There's a lot of different settings that you can use on these platforms. So there was a whole learning process and a lot of issues at the first few classes. Then we launched our own platform, and in our own platform, we had to work out all the technical bugs, and now the platform is incredible. Our platform has better video than I've ever seen in any other platform. That's what we wanted to focus on, is video and audio being crystal clear, HD, come through amazing. And then we had to train our instructors, right? That was a big piece of it. So we created Facebook groups where we were as Zumba virtual Facebook groups that people could join and learn how to teach virtually. We created courses, e-learning courses, and we created, in July, we held thousands and thousands of courses, live stream courses using our experts for a course that we developed called Zumba Virtual Pro. And all our instructors could take this course for free, called Zumba Virtual Pro, which would help them really not only on their technical skills, but when you're speaking to a camera, when you're dancing to a camera, your movements have to be a little different. How do you engage when you're not seeing the feedback, when you're not seeing what the other person's expression is? How do you engage? So it's almost like acting classes, right? How do you? And so we had a lot of fun doing it, and we learned a lot from our instructors, from their experiences. And how do you take that to the next level?
Are you guys strongly discouraging your instructors from doing indoor classes?
We're not at all. We want nothing more than for people to be back at the gyms and for people to be teaching classes together, because community is such a big deal. People are a lot more accountable to other people than they are to themselves, unfortunately. Right. And so if you know your buddy's going to show up at your Zumba class or at your Strong Nation class, you're more likely to go because there's someone waiting for you there. So we want the gyms to reopen. We want people to teach indoors again. We want to experiment with this hybrid model of teaching indoors and teaching virtually. We want people to be teaching outdoors. The more we can get people together, the happier we are. So as long as people are following guidelines and are staying safe, I think indoor group X is pretty safe if people are being socially distant.
You think that people can exercise indoors wearing masks?
Depends on the mask, right? So some masks are hotter than others and made from materials that are less comfortable. We've seen some, and we're coming up with our own mask as well. We've seen some innovation in masks where you can have mask with a non-woven filter, but at the same time, it is made from material that wicks away sweat, that is a little bit more breathable, that has, the one we're creating has a little bit more space in it. So I think that in certain situations when the cases in the area are high, people should be exercising with masks. But as cases come down, like in Europe, people are not exercising with masks,
right?
Because the cases are down in most places, and so you can go back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think I would be comfortable doing that. I'm just for me, I've got to say, I don't think I'd be comfortable exercising indoors quite yet with other people around. I just don't think that it's safe. But I'm not a medical expert, so I would just.
Depends where you are, Guy. It depends where you are. If you're in Florida right now, probably not.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're in Vermont, yesterday there was one case in Vermont, one coronavirus case in Vermont. So as long as people are socially distant, and I don't even think you need to wear masks when there's only one case in your whole state, right? But in Florida, you probably need to wear a mask or do it outside.
All right, I'm still working out from home and outside. I want to ask you, this is an important question because a lot of people, as you know, Alberto, who listen to our program, are starting businesses and are also in marketing. And one of the huge marketing innovations you guys made at the beginning was the name Zumba, because you were originally called Rumba, which means to party in Spanish. But you couldn't trademark it, actually. So, and then I guess Beto, your co-founder, I remember he liked the word Z. And so he was like Zumba, Roomba, Zumba. So Zumba became Zumba, and it actually was great. It worked really well. What are ways that you kind of market, but back then obviously it was different, but how do you kind of market what you do and successfully reach people who may not know about Zumba? How do you get the word out? What are some of your strategies?
Yeah, so the world has changed, right? Obviously, the world of marketing has gone through an innovation period that has created lots of opportunities, but it's also very different these days. So currently, we obviously use social media. We have over 10 million people that follow us on social media. We advertise on social media. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars advertising Find a Class, even though we don't make any money from Find a Class, right? Because that money all goes to the instructors. We advertise it all the time, and it's one of our biggest line items in our cost structure is advertising Find a Class. So we create thousands of ads for people to come and find Zumba classes. When we are in a non-pandemic state, We do a lot of events. We do a lot of classes in different places that showcase Zumba. And obviously, the number one thing that drives people to Zumba is bring a friend. Is when somebody tells you, "Hey, I'm taking this amazing class. I found this amazing instructor. Do you want to come with me?" It's one of the best marketing tools we have. So we help our instructors and our gym partners encourage that as well.
Yeah. Alberto, before we let you go, what is something that you have learned about yourself as a leader, or something that you have adapted to, or something that this crisis has forced you to be or become that you want to take with you into the future as you continue to lead this company?
Wow. I think that focus has been so sharpened for me, where because we're all working from home, and because we are all trying to figure out what the next move is, having clear crystal focus for the organization and aligning everybody together has become so much more important. And I think I've learned how to communicate better, and because now you're communicating in this virtual world, you really need to have people understand what it is that you want to get done and what it is where it is that you want to go.
Right. Alberto Perlman, co-founder of Zumba, thank you so much.
Thank you, Guy. It's great seeing you again.
You too. Stand by for a quick sec. A couple of quick announcements. Next week, another great week on the Resilience series. On Tuesday, I'll be talking with Jessie Woolley Wilson. She is the president and CEO of Dreambox. It's an ed tech company. If you've got kids, you know what Dreambox is. It specializes in math instruction. So we're going to hear Jessie's take on schools and parents and teachers and back to school and all that stuff. Next Friday, back here at this time, I'll be talking with Brian Chesky, co-founder and CEO of Airbnb. Obviously, that business has faced incredible challenges this year. We're going to talk to Brian about how his leadership has changed, what Airbnb might look like in the future. So those conversations happening right here next Tuesday and next Friday, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Please join us. We love having you here. And then we put these on the podcast if you miss it. But it's more fun if you're here, so you can ask your questions. On Monday, we've got a brand new episode of How I Built This. It is the story of Vita Coco. I interviewed Mike Curbin, the founder of Vita Coco. Oh my God, the story is insane. It is funny. It's surprising. It's full of sabotage and subterfuge and dirty tricks. It's the story of the coconut water wars of the early 2000s. You didn't even know that happened. It did. It was very dramatic. So that episode comes out on Monday. Check it out. Also, if you haven't heard the Zumba episode, go back and listen to it. Super fun and really inspiring. Alberto, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Guy.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend.